Културата е билет за иднината на Чешка, па земјата многу посветено работи да се етаблира како културна крстосница во Европа. Добре дојдовте во Плзен, незаобиколна дестинација кога станува збор за чешката култура. Градот ја носи титулата Европска престолнина за 2015 година, но е веројатно уште попрочуен како престолнина на пивото. И веројатно пивото и културата одат заедно и таа комбинација го прави Плзен магнет за странските гости. Чешка минатата година ја посетиле 8 милиони туристи. Неколку стотици илјади го запознале родното место на пивото. Во 2015-та Плзен организира 50 големи проекти и повеќе од 600 настани во рамките на програмата Европска престолнина на културата. Вкупниот буџет на проектот е 15 милиони евра, значителен дел од оваа сума обезбеден од Европската унија. Овој EU карван низ новите земји членки е посветен на културата и на пивото. Останете со нас.
Град на историјата и традицијата, град на културата и уметноста, на спортот, град на истражувањето и развојот, местото каде што е роден брендот на Шкода, каде што животот е со висок квалитет. Европски главен град на културата за 2015 година. Сето ова е Плзен, четврти град по големина во Чешката република. Важи за индустријски, но и град на пивото. Има 170.000 жители. Кралскиот град Плзен е основан во 1295 година во сливот на 4 реки. Поволната локација на крстосницата на главните трговски патишта придонесла за забрзан економски развој на градот, кој набрзо станува и центар на културата. Токму високото културно и општествено ниво на градот се огледа во уникатниот развој на Плзен. Денес, Плзен е динамична и модерна метропола на Западна Бохемија. Тој е дом на многу големи фирми и индустријски компании, универзитети и медицински училишта. Има добро развиена туристичка инфраструктура. Нејзиниот исклучителен квалитет беше потврден со доделувањето на титулата Европска престолнина на културата за годинава. Градот прераснува во главен центар на истражувањето и развојот. 17.000 студенти во Плзен се показател за квалификувана работна сила во сите сегменти. Како куриозитет, од историјата на Плзен е првиот чешки град кој во 1434 година започнало машинското печатање на хартија. Од неговата историја покрај пивото, Плзен е познат и по подземните ходници кои биле ископани во 14 век за прибежиште на населението во времето на војната, како и место за складирање на прехранбени производи и се разбира за складирање на пивото. Околу 11 километри тунели биле ископани, поголем дел од нив се отворени за јавноста и денеска, а центарот на градот е под заштита на УНЕСКО. Од плоштадот најдобро е да започнете туристичка прошетка. Катедралата Свети Вартоломеј на северната страна од плоштадот има највисоката камбанарија во Чешка, висока безмалку 103 метри. Овде може да се види втората по големина синагога, изградена во Европа, театарската зграда, зградата на собранието изградена во ренесансен стил. Има многу што да видите, а одморот се знае во некој од рестораните со првокласна храна и кригла Плзен пиво. Е добро де, нека се 2 кригли.
Во 2014-та во Плзен се регистрирани ноќевања на повеќе од 230.000 туристи, најголемиот број од нив странци, и тоа кинези, корејци, руси и американци. Секако тука се и европејците, од кои најбројни се германците. Се проценува дека титулата Европска престолнина на културата ќе го зголеми бројот на туристи во Плзен за дури 30%. Разговор со господинот Јири Суханек, директор на проектот Плзен, Европска престолнина на културата за 2015-та. Mr. Suchanek, welcome to the EU Caravan through the new member states.
Thank you.
In what way was Plzen transformed by the title European Capital of Culture for 2015?
Well, the title changed the city a lot. I mean, it was enormous change for a city of 170,000 people. It was a big test with a big European project, big test for everyone, officers, policemen, people, organization team, and also big benefit. We started a new period of the city in terms of tourism. There's new culture events happening, and the whole thinking about image of Pilsen is totally different.
Do you pass the test, or what is your grade on the exam?
I'm sure that at the end, almost at the end of the project, we can say that Pilsen became a successful project. But to be honest, in 2013, the situation was really difficult and it could be totally different, or opposite.
How long were the preparation for the projects, and what is the entire costs of the projects?
Well, the bidding period started in 2009. We won the title in 2010, in August 2010, which means we had almost 4 years for preparation and building up the project, and total costs for the candidacy period, under the candidacy, was roughly 700,000 euro. So it's not cheap, the candidacy as itself. And the project as itself costs roughly 20 million euros. And I'm talking about the soft operation, about the programming, marketing, culture events, education, etc.
Total budget.
Total budget 20 million.
How much of this amount was supported by the European Commission?
Roughly 8%.
Only 8%?
Yeah.
Which more important infrastructural projects were completed during the candidacy period?
Well, it's another part of the project, the infrastructure. The city of Pilsen have a new theater. We have a new creative zone from industrial brownfield. We have parks. We have new amphitheater for open air events, and we have some parks. We have new science center, and the overall investment was worth of 40 million euros, where maybe 1/2 was financed by the EU.
What was this project, the most expensive one? You're speaking about
A theater, over 30 million euros.
Tell us something more about the new theater.
Well, it's a nice and controversial building.
Why controversial?
How it looks, the design, how it was designed, and the way how it was built, and how it comes usually mostly in the Eastern and Central Europe, that investment projects are late, and there were lots of discussions whether the theater will be finished before the main year 2015, which we luckily made in September 2014, but there was lots of political and other discussions around the theater.
So now Pilsen is a city of culture and beer. But the beer and culture go together, and they are pretty good combination. What can you say about this?
Beer, culture and sports. I cannot forget football and ice hockey, which are really important for us.
Туристичката тура во пиварницата Пилснер Урквел во Плзен е една од најдобро рангираните атракции во светот. Посетителите се просто импресионирани од моделот на пиварница од 19 век и традиционалниот рецепт на производство на пиво, како во времето на првите пиварници. Повеќе за историјата на оваа марка, која со времето станува заштитен знак за овој вид светло пиво, а денес се продава како интересна, атрактивна приказна за посетителите, ќе слушнеме во специјализираниот музеј на пивото во центарот на Плзен. Следува разговор со господицата Вероника Нахманова од Музеот на пивото во Плзен. Miss Нахманова, give us some short history about the museum in Plzen of beer, please.
Tak, Pivovarské muzeum je vlastně jediné svého druhu v České republice. Bylo založené v roce, nebo spíš bylo otevřené v roce 1958, a to ke 100. výročí zapsání ochranné známky Pilsner Urquell. Tady ty myšlenky na založení muzea přišly vlastně od potomků právovárečných rodin. Plzeň je totiž známá tím, že hned po svém založení tak všichni měšťané, všichni vlastníci nějakého pozemku uvnitř hradeb získali od krále právo várečné. Směli vařit pivo, no a potom tedy na začátku tedy 20. století se rozhodli otevřít muzeum. No ale protože přišla první a druhá světová válka, tak z politických důvodů se to otevření uskutečnilo až v tom roce 1958. V současné době to pivovarské muzeum spadá pod pivovar Pilsner Urquell.
Your city is well known and world famous as a city of beer. What kind of story you offer to the tourists and to the visitors of your museum today?
Vlastně tady představujeme tu historii Plzně jako města piva. Už jsem to říkala, hned po založení, tak všechny měšťanské rodiny získaly právo várečné. Bylo jich asi 260. No a tady tohle právo bylo dědičné. Takže to pivo se tady vařilo vlastně až do 19. století, kdy v jeho první třetině byl otevřený potom moderní pivovar Pilsner Urquell. No a příběhy, které tady vyprávíme o vaření piva, tak určitě, co je zajímavé, v Plzni máme podzemí, které je vlastně 14 kilometrů dlouhé. Pod každým tím pivovarečním domem se nacházely sklepy, kde se skladovalo pivo, kde pivo zrálo, no a kde se někdy také pivo i pilo. No a vlastně tady tyhle chodby se dají také navštívit, děláme tam pravidelně prohlídky, kde se dozví něco vlastně i o historii města Plzně návštěvníci.
Which part of the museum is more attractive for the visitors? This part here or the underground corridors downstairs?
Tak to záleží na tom, co ten návštěvník hledá. Jestli informace o tom, jak se ve středověku vařilo pivo, vůbec celkově o výrobě piva, a nebo jestli se chce spíš dovědět něco o historii našeho města, o tom, jak se ve městě žilo ve středověku. Tady to muzeum je specifické tím, že si můžete projít místnosti, kde se skutečně připravovaly suroviny k výrobě piva. Je tady sladovna, pak se můžete podívat vlastně na valách, kde se slad sušil, anebo na valečku, kde se slad skladoval. Součástí toho muzea jsou i sklepy, kde pivo zrálo a bylo uložené.
How does the title of the European Capital of Culture influence to the number of visitors in 2015? Did you manage to increase the number?
Opravdu hodně se navýšil počet návštěvníků, a to jak objednaných skupin, tak těch, co přijdou individuálně na prohlídku. Dá se říct, že se to zdvojnásobilo.
Tell me something more about this exhibition, about this room where we are doing this interview. What does it mean? What does it present?
Ano. My se teď nacházíme v Tázlerově pivnici. V budově pivovarského muzea byla na začátku 20. století tady tahle pivnice v provozu. Její majitel Franz Tázler byl velmi oblíbený Plzeňan. On byl několikanásobný mistr Evropy v řecko-římském zápase. Byl velmi oblíbený, potom si tady otevřel tu restauraci, tu spíš hospodu než restauraci. Ta restaurace byla jednoduše zařízená, delší stůl, v čele toho stolu seděla lepší společnost, potom různě po stranách další hosti, jako třeba formani. No a potom různě v rozích a na takových těch horších místech tak seděli různí chudší pocestní nebo prostě takoví ti chudší lidé. No a jinak, co je tady určitě zajímavé, jsou tady ty voskové figuríny, ty mají naši návštěvníci opravdu rádi se tady s nimi fotí. No a v téhle místnosti je určitě také zajímavý tamhle v rohu ten polyfon, ta hudební skříň. Ta se dá dokonce i pustit, dá se natáhnout takovou kličkou.
Which kind of beer do you like most? Special one?
To je jasná odpověď, plzeňskou 12, Pilsner Urquell.
Се наоѓаме на длабочина од околу 10 метри во подземјето на Плзен, во подземните тунели кои се распространети насекаде под градот. Долги се околу 14 километри, а денес во собственост на Музеот на пивото во градот се околу 800 метри. Овие подземни тунели се изградени во текот на 15-тиот век. Служеле за складирање и чување на храната, но имали и одбрамбена функција за тогашните жители. Имено во случај на напад тие од непријателите се криеле во овие скривници. Денес тие се вистинска атракција за посетителите и туристите.
Did you visit some of the cultural events in Pilsen 2015 and which one was your favorite?
Honestly, just the opening ceremony was really nice. Like, it was amazing. And they had like really nice like stalls and stuff out there, like the ice bar and everything. All in all, it was quite nice, yeah. But I haven't really visited like all the events, but
I have been to some of the jazz festival things, which I really liked. And the opening of 2015, they had the tightrope walker. He was really cool. And the beer museum.
Which beer is your favorite?
Beer? I don't have favorite beer. Really, for me, it's the same.
I don't drink beer, but my boyfriend a lot. And if I drink a beer, my favorite beer is Pilsner Urquell 12.
Oh, I don't drink beer, but I think my husband's favorite is Pilsner Urquell. I think so.
I feel like I'm obligated to say Pilsner, so I'll say Pilsner.
What can you say about the Pilsen European Capital of Culture in 2015?
I want to say that it's for us. It's of course we are proud that Pilsen became the European Culture City of this year, and of course it have many situations that there is lots of more people than usual. There is more visitor, and we are more famous in all Europe. And I think it's good for visitor.
But you have another big tramp of the city, and that's not the culture. That's it. What is it? That?
I think you mean beer. That we are also very famous about the beer because Pilsner Urquell is here, and I think we will be famous about this many years after and before this 1 year we are culture.
The tourists like more beer or culture?
I don't know. You can you have to ask the tourists, and I prefer beer.
What kind of beer do you usually drink?
It depends. Sometimes just Gambrinus 10, but sometimes Pilsner Urquell 12.
Light or dark beers you prefer?
I prefer light.
Why?
It's tasty for me. Dark beer is more sweet for me.
What is the cultural offer of Pilsen 2015?
Well, it's a combination of many factors, many aspects focusing on different target groups. You need to have highlights, those fireworks. We prepared a massive event in public space for 100,000 people with giant puppets, for instance. But we also prepared a season of a new circus, something that is totally new in Czech Republic. And we brought the best from new circus from all over the Europe. And our researchers are reporting that there's a big satisfaction with these new ways of culture. For sure, you need to have something more sophisticated, participatory events. We developed, for instance, European Neighbors Days, where the people in the whole city are having dinner together with their neighbors. It's just simple. We give them something to eat, some drinks, and ask them to come and make a barbecue together. And together we organize some concerts. And now you see that people are part of the culture, not only consuming concert or theater play. And the third part is the most common conservatory, to say, part of the culture, like theater. And Pilsen is mostly the city of good theater.
Tell us please more details about the main event that managed to attract 150,000 people, you mentioned.
It was over 100,000 people, and Pilsen has quite a big tradition in puppetry. Jiří Trnka. He's a famous animator, and we prepared for him several exhibitions during the year. And we wanted to highlight the topic of Pilsen puppetry in an unusual way. So we adopted one group from Spain called Carros de Foc with 8 giant puppets. The tallest one had 10 meters. And we created together with 100 Czech artists big site-specific show in the city center. So it was a story of a little girl that came up to Pilsen and lost their toys and together played one big fairy tale. So it was a combination of total pop culture, but at the same time real craftsmanship, because it's real, it's not an animation, it's something you can touch. And it worked pretty well, and it was big success. Within 3 days visited over 100,000 people Pilsen, and it's also the economic benefits are quite nice.
До април оваа година оваа зграда била транспортен центар во која биле паркирани автобуси и тролејбуси и намената за останатите возила од тешкиот транспорт. Од април наваму оваа зграда е претворена во културен центар за потребите на проектот Пилсен, Европска престолнина на културата за 2015-та. Повеќе детали за тоа ќе побараме од господја Мирка Рајфова, портпарол на проектот. Се наоѓаме во Зелената куќа, односно така наречената креативна соба, која е дел од проектот Депо 2015-та. Разговараме со господја Мирка Рајфова, портпарол на Европската престолнина на културата Пилсен 2015-та. Ms. Raifova, please explain the story of the Depot 2015, please.
Right now we are standing in the so-called Creative Zone Depot 2015, which is a new venue which was opened as a part of the European Capital of Culture project here in Pilsen. Until last year it worked as a public transport depot, that's why the name. But then the buses and trolleybuses moved to a new other building, and this one was left empty. And we thought it's a shame, because Pilsen has industrial past, and these beautiful buildings shouldn't be left empty and unused. So our idea was to give it a new life and fill it with events, with exhibitions, with concerts. We have had more than 6 months of it already. It opened in April this year, and since then there have been about 10 big exhibitions. It's open every day for the public. We had also a huge music festival called Rock for People Europe, with the big bands having their performance here, and the biggest event here hosted about 30,000 people.
What is the cost of entire project? Do you know the amount of money that you invest?
Are you asking about investments for Depot 2015? The project isn't finished yet, because we only opened in April this year, so there's going to be some more reconstruction. The costs are not known.
Do you have some specific numbers about the visitors daily?
Normal days there are about 100 or 200 visitors, but we also do like commented tours. We have programs for schools, and on the weekends, or if there's a special event, there are thousands of people coming.
Which is the most attractive exhibition for the visitors?
Right now there's the so-called family photo album, which is a project for which people sent us their family photo albums. We had 3,000 pictures, and from those we chose 300 that are exhibited right here. And people love to come and to look at old photographs where they see Pilsen, how it looked in the history, and they connect to it their own stories.
Do you manage with this building to give Pilsen another kind of spirit, cultural spirit, and to change the industrial spirit of Pilsen in the past?
Exactly. We don't want to change it entirely, but to add something more to it. So here, right now, we are standing in a greenhouse, and this is a design exhibition. There was nothing like it ever before 2015. So we are showing that if you have a project like this, you can connect an industrial building with a new life, new sense, and to have a boost of program which will bring visitors, which will give new ideas and impulses for the students, for example, who are coming here to see the contemporary design and to learn from it.
According to you and other visitors, which one is the most creative exhibition in this building?
When we were coming from the outside, there was an exhibition of giant sculptures, iron-made sculptures. So that exhibition called Restart is a message that you can use for this venue as well, and both exhibition. It is nice to reuse things and to give old meanings to things.
How many artists contribute in this project?
Since we opened the depot in April 2015, there have been several dozens of artists contributing, not only the locals, the Pilsner artists, but also from abroad. There's a Japanese exhibition of photos that you can see right now. Also in the past there were Days of Jerusalem, there was a festival of Austrian films, there was a week of Bavarian culture. We are planning to have much more international festivals as well. So really it can be up to 100 or even more artists. And it's also a place where the Artist in Residence program is taking place, which means we are hosting foreign artists to come to Pilsen. They have their working place here in Depot, and they develop site-specific projects.
Apart the picture of this Depot 2015, what is your opinion about the cultural field in Czech Republic after the country become a member state of the European Union? What has changed?
I have been living in Pilsen for 30 years, and I can see that it's changing. Since the entry of Czech Republic into European Union, I can say that we became more confident. You can see it not only on the cities, but also on the people, how they behave, how they interact with the foreign visitors. They know that they can travel freely, but also that they have something to show to other nations as well. So the number of foreign visitors has risen, and now also thanks to this project of European Capital of Culture, we have a proof that our culture is an important part of European values.
Tell us something more about the contribution in the development of a creative industry. Did you manage to create new jobs?
For sure. This kind of project creates hundreds of new jobs, especially in hospitality, in services, restaurants. I know an owner of a restaurant who makes 50% more than a year before. Majority of hotels, they can report 30-40% increase, which means many new employees. We don't have exact figures now, but my expectations, it won't be tens, but it will be hundreds of new jobs created only because of the European Capital of Culture.
How much this project increased the visibility of Pilsen on the international cultural scene?
Well, to me, it's one of the biggest benefits. We don't have exact numbers, but I would guess that if we would have paid the PR and marketing time in international media, it would be a lot more than 20 million euros, a lot more. And it's great again to having the title brings you some benefits, and this is undisputable benefit. For the opening ceremony, we had over 200 journalists, international journalists, and during the whole year there are journalists coming and bringing wonderful articles. For instance, I saw now in Korean Airlines magazine 12 pages about Pilsen. Can you imagine that 2 years ago? I can't. And we had CNN, BBC and all the big media, and again, you cannot disappoint them. That's the key.
So you get free marketing. And that's the best benefit, the biggest benefit.
To me, that's all many people are asking, how much you get from EU? You're making festival for European money. It's not like that. European Union provides you or borrows you a title for 1 year, and you can keep it for the rest of the history of the city. But in our case, it's 7% of the whole budget. So they're saying, we are borrowing you a title, and you have to treat it well. Otherwise, we will just make consequences about it. But if you capitalize it well, you have the benefit and the value of tens of millions €. That's how it is, and I think it's complicated project, but it's worth of having it.
If some Macedonian city in the future get this title, what can be your advice to the people who will organize that event?
I only had 3 days in my life spent in Macedonia, and I really like the atmosphere and the attitude of people, and you have hot blood in a certain way, so it's good to think about the candidacy before and decide that you will not just step out of your way. And if you make the decision, you get the title, you must have strong support from politicians, business people, and both public. So you need to select a good team, give a trust to the team, and maybe also follow the good and bad practices from past Europeans of capital culture, because there's millions of mistakes you can make, and it's hard to put it back.
Оваа фабрика е пиварницата Pilsner Urquell, што го произведува најпознатиот вид на пиво во светот, пилс, кој станува заштитен знак за светло, лесно за пиење пиво, и тоа според местото на потекло. Пиварницата во Pilsen, односно во Пилсен, како што го нарекуваат германците градот, произведува 120.000 шишиња на час. Пивото е многу важен извозен производ на Чешка. Годишно се произведуваат 2 милиона хектолитри пиво, од кои 40% завршуваат во Германија. Во една типична чешка крчма на плоштадот во Pilsen разговараме со менаџерот господинот Мартин Мелоун. Mr. Melon, welcome to EU Caravan to the new member states.
Hello.
Tell us at the beginning, please, a short history of the restaurant.
The short history, the restaurant will be, first time will be open at 1637. Then will be, then it was one owner. Then the restaurant was, I think, was closed. And then the second owner are coming in 1900s. I think when the brewery make the first beer of Pilsner Urquell, and from this time was this restaurant open until 1960, I think, and then was open in 1995 until today.
Okay, how do you work nowadays? The restaurant is profitable and full of people.
Full of people, yeah. This restaurant is the place of visits, yeah. Many tourists are coming to visit us, and many people from Pilsen are coming for good beer. They said we have one of the best beer in the Czech in the Pilsen, and good food as well.
You are most popular for the domestic people, from the people from Pilsen and Czech and other Czech people, or you're very famous among the foreigners?
We are famous for whole Europe, I think, and the people from Asia is also coming.
What do you offer to them apart beer? What kind of dishes you have?
The dishes we have typical Czech food, so the beef goulash, the beef sirloin with vegetable sauce. Then we have whole pork knee. It's also interesting. We have some kinds of meat on the grill, so beef steaks and chicken meat, fish as well. There's so many dishes, but many people eat the Czech specials.
How many types of beer you offer to the guests?
So we offer 4 types of beer and one non-alcoholic beer.
4 types alcoholic and 1 non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah.
What are the types? Can you tell us?
So we have the Pilsner Urquell, the lager. Then we have the Kozel. This is the dark beer. Then we have as well the master is semi-dark beer. It's not here. It's far off. Then non-alcoholic beer and Pilsner Urquell ungefiltered.
This is your own production of beer. You product, or you buy it? You buy from the brewery.
From the brewery, yeah.
Which one is of these brands is most popular?
The most popular is this Pilsner Urquell, this lager, and now we have one special action. We have the unfiltered Pilsner Urquell. It's also popular.
Do you know maybe what is the total quantity of beer that you sell a day?
In days, difficult to say, but usually I think we have 100 liters, sure, daily? 150, yeah. Daily 100
liters.
Yeah.
How strong is this beer? I mean in alcohol percent.
It's 4.4%. The Pilsner Urquell. This the Kozel. It's not so strong. It's 3.9, and the master, which I said, it's 4.8.
Which beer you will offer to me? You will suggest to try?
The unfiltered Pilsner Urquell. I think this Pilsner Urquell lager you can buy home, but this unfiltered you can you can buy only in Pilsen.
Can we try now?
Can we try? Sure.
Титулата Европски град на културата имаше позитивен долгорочен ефект врз сите градови домаќини досега, и тоа во економскиот и социјалниот развој, растот на туризмот, модернизација на културните установи, бум на креативната индустрија која отвора нови работни места. Нема причина да биде поинаку и кога станува збор за Pilsen, особено што овој град има уште еден силен адут повеќе – пивото. Довидување на следната дестинација од ЕУ Карванот.